In this edition of Higher Ed Highlights, we celebrate Black History Month by spotlighting more of the exceptional accomplishments of African Americans with ties to Ohio's colleges and universities. Annie Jean Easley, a computer scientist and mathematician, was one of the first African Americans to work at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Working for NASA's Lewis Research Center, now the Glenn Research Center, Easley began her career in the 1950s as a human computer, doing computations for researchers, analyzing problems, and doing calculations by hand. When hired, she was one of only 4 African American employees at the lab. Despite not having a college degree, Easley was on the front line of space research and subsequent space missions that began with the launch of astronaut John Glenn into orbit in 1962. In the 1970s, Easley returned to school to earn her degree in mathematics from Cleveland State University, doing much of her coursework while also working full-time. While completing her degree, Easley worked with local tutoring programs, encouraging younger students to explore their interests in what would later be known as the STEM fields. She also worked as an equal employment opportunity counselor, addressing race, gender, and age discrimination complaints from NASA employees. She was posthumously inducted into the Glenn Research Hall of Fame in 2015, and in 2021, a crater on the moon was named for her. As bishop, educator, college administrator, and author, Daniel Alexander Payne was once the premier bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and in some ways the most influential African American Christian in the 19th century. He worked as a teacher and minister and was part of the founding of Wilberforce University in 1856, the nation's oldest private, historically black university owned and operated by African Americans. In 1863, Payne was named president of Wilberforce, becoming the first African American president of a college in the United States. He made the institution solvent, attracted capable students and faculty, and enhanced its reputation. In addition to his leadership at Wilberforce, Payne wrote numerous poems, essays, speeches, and sermons, and made significant contributions to African American literature and history. Dr. Sherla Lorraine Robinson Mclean, who earned her bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees from the University of Akron, is best known for her doctoral dissertation, The First Comprehensive History of African Americans in Akron. Early in her career, Mclean taught elementary and secondary education, serving as a supervisor in the Akron public school system. After earning her PhD in 1975, Mclean joined the faculty of Kent State University in the College of Education, where she taught elementary and secondary education. Mclean also served as a professor of education and assistant director of teacher preparation at Walsh University. She was instrumental in the formation of Akron's Black History Gallery at the University of Akron, which was inspired by her dissertation. In 1994, she was honored with the University of Akron's Alumni Honor Award for Excellence in Professional Achievement. Nathaniel R Jones earned his bachelor's and law degrees from Youngstown College, now Youngstown State University, before going on to a distinguished career as an attorney, judge, and law professor. Jones served as general counsel for the NAACP from 1969 to 1979 and sought to end school segregation. From 1979 until 1995, he served as a United States Circuit Judge of the United States Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit before assuming senior status. In 2002, Jones retired to resume a private legal practice. Jones also worked with Nelson Mandela and the post-apartheid South African government to help draft a new constitution for that country in 1993. He is the recipient of awards from the NAACP, the National Underground Freedom Center, and Youngstown State. And in 2003, the new federal courthouse in Youngstown was named the Nathaniel R Jones Federal Building and United States Courthouse. Francine Childs, Ohio University's first tenured black professor and now professor emerita of African American Studies, is a stalwart social justice advocate and a symbol of perseverance and selflessness on campus and in the community. Childs grew up in Wellington, Texas, living with her grandmother. After graduating as valedictorian of her high school class, she pursued her bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees, driven by her family's tradition of education to become a teacher herself. Childs came to Ohio University in 1974 as an associate professor, joining what is now known as the African American Studies Department. She was instrumental in the development of the department and served as its curriculum chair, director of summer programs, and chairperson. Within 3 years of her arrival, Childs became the first black tenured professor. Childs was pivotal in the creation of the university's Multicultural Center, the organization of a Black Faculty Caucus and the Black Student Union, and efforts to diversify the university's faculty. The Reverend Dr. Francine C Childs Social Justice Scholarship Endowment was established in 2020 to benefit students in the College of Arts and Sciences who demonstrate financial need, with preference to students majoring or minoring in African American studies. Look for Higher Ed highlights on the Ohio Department of Higher Education's YouTube page and through our Facebook page and Twitter feed, and check out our website at ohiohighered.org.